Hello, I'm Rob Reynolds in Washington. The main stories brought to you by Al Jazeera. Pakistan's army says it's turned the tide against Taliban fighters and is now trying to completely eradicate them from the Swat Valley. But despite those claims, at least 30 people were killed and 40 more wounded in a suicide bombing. That happened near Swat in the Upper Deer region. It was in a mosque packed for Friday prayers. No one has claimed responsibility, but Pakistani officials are blaming the Taliban. The UN Security General has briefed the Security Council on allegations of war crimes carried out during the final stages of the conflict in Sri Lanka. Ban Ki-moon recently visited the war zone to see how civilians were affected by fighting between the government and the Tamil Tigers. Human rights organizations have called on the UN to investigate possible war crimes by both sides. And in another development in the region, the Sri Lankan Navy has seized a cargo ship carrying food and medicine. It was destined for civilians caught in the recent war against the Tamil Tigers. The government claims the ship could have been carrying weapons for the defeated rebels. The ship's journey was organized by a London-based group called Mercy Mission. Tribal leaders and Peruvian security officials say at least 34 people are dead now in fighting between indigenous people of the Amazon and police. Protests turned violent on Friday in the rainforest region. The indigenous people are protesting against exploitation of natural resources in the area. They blame Peru's government for the deaths of the demonstrators. British Prime Minister Gordon Brown is dismissing calls for his resignation, that despite the loss of 6 key ministers just in 1 week. Brown has reshuffled his cabinet to shore up the government, and he says he won't walk away from the job. A retired U.S. State Department worker and his wife have been charged with spying for Cuba and passing along classified information for 3 decades. Walter Kendall Myers, who had a top-secret security clearance, and his wife were arrested on Thursday. It is claimed that the couple met with former Cuban President Fidel Castro in 1995. Those are the top stories. Don't forget, you can keep up to date with all the news on our website. That's aljazeera.net/English.